Hello there, fellow scientists. My name is Max, and welcome to Tea Time with Max. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about my motivation in regards to my chosen subjects, physics, since my course is starting in 5 weeks' time, which is very exciting. I wanted to talk about what compelled me to study such a wonderful subject. Because it is a little bit of a strange choice for me. If you knew me at school, you would know I absolutely hated physics, and I almost failed one of the years because of physics. I always loved maths, but physics was just not something I liked. Whether that's because it was popular not to like physics, or uh, another reason, which I will go into more detail later on. Yeah, I just didn't really vibe with it, if you may, especially the classical physics. I suppose that's the only physics you learn at school, but either way, I wasn't a big fan. It was only later on when I started discovering a skeptics sort of side of YouTube, more science-based side of YouTube. Vsauce, Veritasium, but also skeptics that were discussing religion, because I was brought up Catholic, and at that time, when I was about 16, I started really questioning religion in general. So getting into that sort of skeptic scene and having more appreciation for facts and science, and things that are testable, things that are not. Only then I started realizing that physics was actually quite an interesting area of science, which I was dismissing for other reasons. Physics at its core is the study of reality, what stuff is and what stuff does, and it's objective. It doesn't change depending on your perspective. It's the same for me, you, and somebody on the other side of the universe. It's fundamentally real, and it is also testable. I can have an hypothesis about an apple falling from a tree, and I can go and test it, and it will work for me just as it will work for you and somebody on the other side of the universe. It's verifiable. Whereas some other ideas that I was brought up with were not. Many religious ideas, well, most religious ideas are not verifiable because they base it on some dogmas, right? It is this way because it is this way, and that's what it is. Whereas physics doesn't operate like that. Science doesn't operate like that. Science makes an hypothesis, and then it tests it, and then it makes into a theory of anything, theory of gravity, theory of germs, theory of anything. Science is about understanding the universe, whereas the ideas I was brought up with, mostly religious ideas, is pretending to know the truths of the universe. And that's just not satisfying for me. I want to really know how things work, not pretend that I do. So this is a lot of the reason why I had this need for the reality check, to learn more about how things really work, to have to touch the real, touch the reality, rather than, as I was saying, pretend. That's not the only reason though. My difficult relationship with my father also paid, also was important in my choice. He graduated chemistry, food chemistry to be more exact. So he is a scientist, right? He graduated as a scientist, and we don't really talk at the moment anymore. But our final sort of exchanges, conversations, were actually about science, or rather, science denial. There are many problems with my father, but the straw that broke the camel back between us is him completely denying science. It was during the COVID pandemic. He was anti-vaccine. He was anti-pandemic. He was also anti-climate change, and I was having those debates with him because obviously I, at that time, really cared about the relationship, and then I wanted to get it better, so I wanted to get him to understand what's actually going on. But he just wasn't having it. Somebody who graduated chemistry, you would think he would know the basic of scientific thinking, scientific theory, but he was, talking about completely denying all of the science of today. It was hard, and I was having those debates with him, and I found myself not having immediate answers some of the time, and that pushed me into really thinking that I do need to go and study and learn more, so I am able to have those debates at the highest level possible and have like immediate answers to a lot of those anti-scientific claims. And I believe that's also true for the society in general. That the pandemic really showed me how unscientific a lot of people are. And I think that's a big, big problem, especially with climate change nowadays. We need to act now, and there is just absolutely no political will to do that. People are just in denial, and they will debate you that climate change doesn't exist or that COVID didn't exist or whatever. That's just hurting them and us. That's just hurting humanity. And the more scientific minded people we have, the better our chances are to fight those arising issues. That thinking about scientific minded people and how we as a society need more of those led me into thinking that I should become a teacher. I should study physics and teach physics to make sure that the newer generation is better equipped to tackle the issues they will be having with the scientific mindset. Part of the reason actually that I didn't like physics at school is because my teacher was really, really bad. And only after I quit school and started researching YouTube, and as I said, the skeptical sort of side of YouTube, scientific side of YouTube, I realized it wasn't the physics that was the problem. It was my teacher that was the problem. And I thought to myself, how many more kids like me are there in the world that had immense potential to do science but didn't because their teachers were just really, really bad? How many people are like that? How many people work in factories on an assembly line that could be biologists, chemists, physicists, geologists, what have you? I wanted to try and remedy that problem. I wanted to become a teacher that inspires people rather than, dissuading them from pursuing education. So that was my initial sort of idea. I'm going to go to the university, put the work in, learn science at the deepest level possible, and go and teach. And make sure the next generation, as I said, is better equipped to tackle the problems they will be having. Mostly climate change, let's be honest. But the more I learn about physics, the more I read, research, the more I realize how much more there is to be learned. Like, we have those two amazing theories, the theory of gravity by Einstein, the relativity, and we have the quantum mechanics. And those are two phenomenal, intricate, very, very precise theories that explain most of the universe, but they cannot be combined together. They just don't work with one another. What's that about? I mean, nature does it, right? Nature does those calculations all the time, but we can't seem to be able to figure it out, and that troubles me. That is really annoying, even, that we don't have this unified theory of everything. And I think between teaching and trying to figure that out, I think I would rather do research and try to bridge that gap. So I think that's what I'm gonna try and do. Obviously, I'm 5 weeks before I even start the foundation year, before I start the degree. But at this moment in time, I think I want to do research. And this is it. It just really bothers me that we don't have the answers that I really, really want. So this is it. This is why. Personally, I really want to know what's true, what's real. I want to verify it. I have this need to understand the reality. But also we need more scientific thinking on the societal scale, on the in the society. So those are the two reasons, and a bit of background behind these, why I chose physics. You know what's funny? Last week I mentioned that COVID is over. And you might hear in the background, but my wife actually got COVID. She tested positive yesterday, so it's over, but it's here. Obviously, it's not as terrible as it used to be, um, for many reasons. But yeah, it's just funny. It's just funny. I'm fine myself, and my mom is as well. She lives with us at the moment. So that's it. That's the video. Yeah, let me know what you think, and I shall see you probably next week. Bye bye.